All right. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? I know we're starting a little earlier than what I said we were going to start. Then we also started a little later than what I said we were going to start. So I do apologize for the adjustment of time there. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I got things I got going on. So we're here. We're live. We're here. We're coming to hang out, talk some fish tonight, catch up. I honestly did not realize that my last live stream was over a month ago. Time definitely got away from me, and we've been busy. It's the hardest part of kind of where I'm still in full-time day job, trying to build this, do fish, family, and everything else. Like occasionally something takes the back burner, and unfortunately that would just happen to be YouTube. But so yeah, where are we at? What's going on, everybody? Hello. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully we fixed the rainbow effects happening. I'm watching the replay of it here on YouTube on my other monitor here, and I think we fixed that rainbow effect. So trying some new things out tonight. We're definitely trying some new things out tonight. So hopefully the quality is actually better, higher resolution. I've done a lot of tinkering. So on the back end this last week, I've done a lot of tinkering with camera settings, different camera, different things, different lighting. Believe it or not, I actually moved some lighting around here in the studio. We added some lighting here in the studio, trying to give you more of a full view of the studio, perspective of the studio, and get rid of that annoying rainbow effect we had going on. So hopefully it's a much more crisp live stream audio. Hopefully audio is good. No one's complained yet. So I'm really hoping the actual video is more crisp than what we've had previously. So it's been a while, but I promise you I haven't spent that time totally just bumming around. We've done a few. If you're interested, I don't talk about them much. I should probably definitely put more information out there about them. We do have the memberships. So I have been doing some members only live streams. We typically do them in the fish room, hanging out. I think last night we did one. We did maintenance, did all the water changes. We moved some juveniles around. We did a members only small, fun little giveaway for some fish food I've been testing and I really like. Maybe we'll kind of delve into that tonight. But I want to kind of give you guys an update on the fish room, where we're at with things, and then definitely Q&A. If you got any Q&A questions, definitely bring them in. Hopefully we can answer them. And then I know most of you probably haven't seen me, or if you remember, it's been a while since I've been the unshaven aspect of things. I may need to dig out my fake red beard to mimic Mountaintop Puffer Keeper again with that gnarly red beard of his. But anyway, so hopefully we'll have a good night tonight. I see Jeffrey, what's up? Welcome. Just found you yesterday. Well, hopefully what you found you liked. Hopefully you'll decide to stick around a little longer. If you just found me, you may not know, I have Tourette syndrome, so I make fun noises. Some people can handle it, some people can't, and you know what? That's all right. But either way, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you stopping in. And I say, hopefully you found what you liked. Hopefully you considered hitting that subscribe button. We're definitely trying to do some fun adventures here down in Texas and build some things. And me and the wife are having some definite discussion tonight of future plans, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to build down here, what we want to do, what we want for our future, and the effort the effort we're putting into that. So my wife has been very busy in the house this month, kind of just putting things back together the way they were there. It's 6 a.m. here in India, 6:30 on the dot right now over here in Houston, Texas. But welcome. I appreciate you being here. That's I do appreciate you stopping in all the way from India. That's awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I try to go earlier tonight, start earlier tonight to get more people, get more opportunity for people in. So hoping to really get back on the regular schedule again of live streams on Sunday. Hopefully I can get on earlier, you're half deaf. Well, hopefully you're half deaf enough that you can't hear me sniffing and stuff there. I'm sorry. It's a terrible joke of me, but it sounds like you definitely know what's going on with it. So I appreciate you being here, man. I know that I am one. If you're wearing headphones, I probably have made people half deaf before, but either way, man, I appreciate it. And it sounds like it doesn't stop you at all. So, all right, where was I? What was I talking about? Yeah, it's like our last live stream, we just got back from Aquashella. That's how long ago our last live stream was. I purposely took like a week off I wanted to really try and figure out this freaking rainbow effect crap. I wanted to try and make some adjustments here in the studio. So part of that time was I put up some new. I finally got the studio cleaned up. With the help of my wife, we have a rug down in here now, so hopefully that kind of helps with the audio. I actually built some sound panels and got those up on the wall. Hung up a few more things. I was playing with some lighting in here. I actually moved some tanks around and got those going, and did a very deep clean of all the tanks in here yesterday. So the 65, it hasn't been this clear in a few weeks now. Let's be honest here. Clean the canister filter in both the 65 here and the 40 breeder behind me. These geos are looking solid. They're actually looking really good. The metal's definitely getting more color to them. So there's still a young group of geophagus, but hopefully we have some good things out of there. The candy cane tetras, I still have all of them. They're acting as a great dither fish. And then the tank behind me, though, man, pointing on camera, it never works. The 40 breeder behind me. If you have not yet, and who's moderating in the chat tonight? Maybe we can get some moderators in here. If you have not yet, I highly recommend you go check out the dragon puffer video we did. So we have the 6 dragon puffers in the 40 breeder, and I got some solid footage tonight of them eating. I'm working on a new video. So if you watch the dragon puffer video, you're going to see the fish food company that sponsored that video. We have another collaboration coming together. The members know all about it. The members know how much I like their food and do things there. But yeah, one of their foods, I talked about it in the video of getting the puffers, of hoping to transition my puffers to one of their foods. And very successfully and very quickly, they have transitioned to that particular food. You know what? It's not sponsored tonight, but hopefully I'll do more with this here. Ultra fresh fish foods. So this bottle I purchased on my own. They have since sent me out more food on a brand sponsored dealio for me to film another video with. And so I have a whole breakdown of that coming. So that's what I was working on a little bit tonight. But the carnivorous jumbo sticks, my dragon puffers now, all 6 of them have eaten this with no problems now. This has added a awesome mix to their diet, and I'm very happy with it because it contains up to 40% shrimp meat. And now I know that they're actually getting some solid vitamins and minerals into their systems, versus sort of living off earthworms and snails and stuff. It's still a healthy part of their diet, the variety that adds to it. But to be able to have a dry food that they go after on a puffer, that's so nice. That is so nice. They went after it that fast. So I know I honestly want to collaborate a little bit with Mountaintop Puffer Keeper and see if his puffer species eat it just as well as mine have now, on that basis. But how was the air pump going? The one I rebuilt? So it died. I brought it with me here to Texas. I rebuilt it in Utah, brought it with me here to Texas, and I ended up not needing it for my fish room. The one air pump I had actually ended up running plenty of air, and I still have extra air to spare. So I was going to gift that air pump I rebuilt to a friend down here for him to use in his fish room. And then we started doing some testing with it because I noticed that it was not pumping as much air. That makes sense. Kind of a thing there. So we started kind of running it, testing it, seeing how it would do. and it ultimately gave out. So unfortunately, it did not run the way I wanted it to. And I definitely had some experience in that. Like I would, because I've said like even in the video that it could be a a good option to rebuild an air pump, and I think in some instances it may be. Nonetheless, it was interesting to try. And nonetheless, it was interesting to do, to have that idea behind it, to have that knowledge, to see it work, to see the application of it, to understand it, to see all of that there. But then it just never, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. So yeah, the air pump ended up dying. But I thank you. I'm glad that somebody actually watched that video and brought it back up again. That's definitely what we're here for. So it was interesting though. I mean, nonetheless, too, that was honestly one of my more favorite videos I've ever filmed and edited. My wife was a huge factor in that one, helping me film that one. And it came out how I wanted it to there. And yeah, it was a fun video to make there for sure. But things in the fish room though are definitely, we have things happening in this. Okay, right here. It's like Simon Says, I swear, like trying to get your hand figure straight there doesn't work. This tank here, right here, something very special is happening in this tank right now. And this is my first time ever attempting to spawn this species of fish, and I'm pretty sure we have successfully done it. I have almost 20 hours, 20 hours of footage from these fish. I actually set up a camera and was able to record it to my computer, and I found out that the recording limit was 10 hours. So I reset it. Almost 20 hours trying to capture all of the ins and outs of introducing the fish together, watching the pre-spawn take place, watching the actual spawning take place. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to get my cameras out, my cell phone out, my Canon M50 out, and get some footage of them spawning and see it in action. And I honestly probably spent close to an hour or more, over an hour last night, just watching these fish. And I spent time today just watching this, just fascinating. I kept telling my wife too, I'm like, hey, come here, want to see something cool? And she's like, yeah, that's cool. I'm over there just like eyes wide, like, this is amazing watching this. So that's definitely exciting. I'm really excited about this one. I'm stoked about this one, actually, to see if we can successfully pull it off. And if you look close enough, I guarantee you can figure out what fish are in here. Some of you may already know. I think the members know. For sure the members know. I did a video on that, but I'm super happy about this one here. But yeah, Leo, hopefully you don't mind, man. You've always been a consistent individual here with Well-Don Tanks, in the live streams, in the content, supporting us, all that. So hopefully you don't mind being a moderator for me, helping me out a little bit if you want to. If you don't want to, nope, not a problem. I know I've been moderating for individuals too, and it's kind of a selfless sacrifice of sorts there. But what fish did I keep during my childhood? So I remember I had goldfish from a school fair for sure. The most one I remember though was my brother actually had a tank, and he had types of cichlids in there. And now that, like, from what I remember to now, I'm pretty sure he had like firemouth cichlids. But the most I remember though was him cutting up hot dog and feeding the cichlids pieces of the hot dog. And that was wild to me. So my true fish keeping journey started, was it 6 years ago this Christmas? Yes, because me and my wife have been married 6 years now. We just had our 6-year anniversary, right? Jordan, am I right? She's going to kill me if I'm not, but I'm pretty sure we just had our 6-year anniversary in August, which means this would make our 6th Christmas together. And our first Christmas together, she bought me a 20-gallon starter kit. And that was kind of the journey of my fish keeping hobby there. She absolutely said no snakes. I'm pretty sure if she had said I could keep snakes, I'd probably be having a YouTube channel right now about breeding snakes and keeping snakes and going down that road. But she bought me a fish tank because I love to fish. I love fishing. So she talked to one of my best friends, and he's like, "Why don't you just get him a fish tank then if he loves fishing so much?" And it was I guarantee you, she did not know that it was going to turn into what it is today. And she's right. It's an obsession. I've done some crazy things for fish. So, I mean, we've driven 16 hours up to Washington from Utah one way. We have, done Aquashella. We've moved to Texas, and that was a big move. The reason we moved to Texas was to actually pursue more of the fish scene and things like that. So, yes, she's very good to me. Been very good to me on this. So, I have some experience fish when I was a kid, but the true keeping fish, doing these kind of things definitely came earlier in my more adult years. So it's come December, come Christmas. I can tell you, December 26th will be my official 6-year mark of keeping fish regularly, because the day after Christmas, we went down to the local Petco, and we were living in Roy, Utah. Awesome house we were in. And I went down there, and I remember we bought a rainbow shark, some Pictus catfish, I think some angelfish, and a common pleco. And all the fish died the next day except for that rainbow shark and that common pleco. That rainbow shark actually made it with me through 4 years, almost 5 years, until he actually jumped out of a tank one day. And then that common pleco, lived on forever somewhere else. I finally had to give it away. It got so damn big. But I remember that. And that started the journey. I remember thinking of why did the fish die? I wanted to know why. And that started me going down the YouTube rabbit hole. And I found videos, and I started understanding the ammonia cycle, the nitrogen, all these different things. And then it just started this compounding from there and building from there. And here we are. Here we are. But it was definitely one of those things of, so long answer to your question, but that's kind of where my fish keeping started there. Are marine land tanks worth it? A lot of people online saying they can be defective and aren't worth it. I'm going to kind of answer your question with the question of what tanks don't have defects, what manufacturer don't have defects. Now, the number one marine land tank that I have heard of having more issues than others is their 300-gallon double deep, I think they call it. Outside of that, I think marine land tanks are just fine. I mean, I would say through Petco and stuff, if you're in the United States, or even like the Pet Supplies Plus, I think Marine Land was one of their suppliers on their $1 per gallon sale for a long time, and now it's all Aquion. And I guarantee you, like Aquion, Marine Land are probably the same thing. I guarantee you, most tanks you're going to buy are some way, shape, or form under the Marine Land name. So are they worth it? Sure. Cancer Train said Marine Land for 20 years, no problems. I've never had a tank. Well, I've had a 220-gallon tank explode. That was a horrible day. But on actual 75 gallons, 55 gallons, 20 gallons, 10 gallons, I've never had one leak. I've never had an issue with one. So I mean, they're not the top of the line for sure, but I think they're worth it for their price point. I've looked into new tanks. Like I've actually looked at custom aquarium tanks, and even for like a 20-gallon tank, it's like $250. But they come with a lifetime warranty and all that. So, I mean, there's definitely some, custom aquarium tanks that are, if I was going a large system, sure. But on a marine land tank's worth it for the price point and what most people, the gallons of what they buy them for, I would absolutely say it's worth it based around that. Of I can go buy one for $1 per gallon sale, let's say around $20. I get a 20-gallon tank. It works perfect for me. And I've done a lot of those with bulkheads. I've drilled them with no issues and different things like that. So I would say so. Definitely for sure there. But lately, I've been a member for 11 months. I know who Cascadia Aquatics are. I have purchased some things from them a little bit right now. I have used the EBO. I learned about the EBO from TM Aquatics. So, yeah, I know who they are. But it's They like a Discus Food, a brand from Germany. That's cool. Like that doesn't like excite me as it should. But I know the Ebo stuff I have used when I had my L199 yellow zebra plecos, and they ate it up. It was a great food. It's fantastic. It's expensive, definitely expensive. But there's not many things you're going to throw at me that I don't know about or haven't looked into it some way, shape, or form. I've gone down a lot of rabbit holes for sure. Good company. I had no issues with them. I definitely say their customer service is what they should be. And, again, like Team Aquatics has bred a lot more plecos than I have. And I will say my favorite food from them, the one that I probably will use again, even in the future, is the fry paste stuff they had. The actual like food itself, the pellets they have, I did like how soft it was, but I had the same results of my plecos eating things like Tetra color granules versus those. But the fry paste stuff they have, where you can visibly see it grow a biofilm on it for them to fry to eat off of. Now that stuff is incredible. That stuff I will pay for, just based around, my experience with that stuff there for sure there. What camera and mic do I use? So currently I'm using the Elgato Wave 3 microphone. It's a USB. I don't have any of the XLR mics. I know they're out there, but I think I purchased my Elgato mic based off recommendations from Harris Heller, Alpha Gaming. I was previously using the Snowball microphone, the Snowball mic. Who makes that? Yeah, the blue Snowball. I found one used for $20. That's what I was originally started my live streaming off with, and I advanced here to the Elgato Wave 3. So I love the Elgato software behind it, what you can do with it. Super simple to use. And then I have used my Canon M50 to live stream, but currently I am using the Elgato Facecam to live stream with. It's a new product I picked up a while ago here. I'm trying something new. Wanted to see how it would work. And so far, I really like it. I really like the Elgato products. I like the simplicity of it. And that's what I'm looking for. I want something that's simple, yet gives me quality of kind of stream upgrade. So hopefully that means the image looks good, and hopefully that means the audio sounds good. Definitely there. Now, when I'm filming, I can actually have it right here. When I am filming, a majority of what I film is with my Canon M50 here. This is the Canon M50. It has a Viltrox speed booster, and then it's an 18-35 Sigma lens. And then I have just a K&F concept filter on it. What is it? I can't think of the word for it. Shade filter. It's UV, not UV, whatever that is. Now, this is my preferred run and gun setup. If I'm doing talking headshots, if I'm doing B-roll footage, this right here, Canon M50 18-35 is a beast. I love this setup, and I'm getting better with it. I'm trying to learn with it. I also have a 50mm lens I love doing B-roll with, and I also have a 16mm for my wide angle shots I really like. But then surprisingly, a lot of what I also film, I use my iPhone for. If you set it to the 60 frames a second, I think produces some quality shots there for sure. But the main camera setup is the Canon M50 setup there. And then this was a big upgrade for me too. This was actually one of the more the big upgrades for me from my phone. For the first year plus of my channel, I did everything on my phone. Everything on my phone. I filmed on my phone. I edited on my phone. Then the next big upgrade was we got a DSLR camera and a MacBook. So it's the progression of the channel went, and I'm not going to say we paid for all of the channel and stuff like that, but it was effort I'm putting into it. I wanted some quality of gear upgrades there. But if you're looking to start something with, man, the food, I'm reading chat there. the phone. Like I got some crispy shots. One thing I like about filming on my phone is how close I can get it up to like a tank, and then the simplicity of it. You push record, right? You don't have to mess with settings and stuff. But now that I'm having a better understanding of settings and things, the Canon M50 has definitely been a great upgrade for me there. But if a custom aquarium tank busts, do you send it back to them or do they come to you? Whew, that's a good question. I know if they if I had one of them and it broke on me, you better believe I'd be getting on them of like, you are sending a truck my way with the new tank for sure. If I'm going to package this thing up, I'm going to break it up even further and send it to them. I imagine they would send you a new tank, but I have never heard of a custom aquarium breaking. So for streaming, I have streamed using the Canon M50 with a 16 millimeter Sigma lens. It's possible using a capture card, and then kind of you got to use the Canon. Something fell off my desk. You got to use the Canon download input stuff. But currently, right now, I'm using the Elgato face cam. Super simple, plug and play. I was trying to get around that rainbow effect. If you go watch some older live streams, we were having a rainbow effect issue. So I changed over to this, and so far I really like it. So far, I think it's a pretty crispy thing there. Elgato is very friendly to plug and play type people of that nature. But how many fish tanks do I have now? And do you have any which we don't know? If you've watched the channel, well, no, I don't have any secret ones. They're all down in the fish room right now. I haven't done a full tour yet, though, so I wouldn't say I would say you don't know about them because I haven't done a full tour of them yet. So this is my studio. My wife is very generous to let me take over a whole studio. I have 4 tanks in here right now. There's one just off camera you can't see. It's the Fluval Evo 13, little saltwater tank I have running. If you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, you would have seen my saltwater tank downstairs. You would have seen this on Instagram. Then I have my fish in my garage. So let me think here. Total tanks. I got to count tanks in the garage because all the tanks in the garage are actually not full yet, but I have preparation for fry and stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's currently 18 tanks in the fish room with room for 2 more, which would be 20, but running 18. I have 4 up here. That's 22. And I have 1 down in our living room. So I have 23 total tanks running right now. 23 tanks running totally right now. The one in the living room is not secret. I just haven't done a video on it yet. But I've posted on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, at Wel-Don Tanks, I have it there. I've shown it. So nothing's secret. I don't even need really secret ones. I haven't shown all of them yet on the channel. I want to film a full fish room tour, but the way I want to film it is going to take some time. I need to dedicate like a full day to it because if I tell you how I want to film it, it's not going to be worth watching there and stuff, but I definitely, yes, I want to film a full fish room tour where you can see all the tanks on the YouTube channel platform. I've posted some things on Instagram. If you're a member, or the members have seen the full fish room for sure. And if you're interested in becoming a member, I generally strive. I mean, this is what's so hard too, is like, it's so hard to be like, all right, are you interested in becoming a member? Because I know that one channel I'm a member of, I appreciate what I get in return for it. I also know hang on, I did not turn off the dehumidifier. I have 2 tiers set up on the channel for memberships, $1 and $5. We call it Shark Bait and Well-Done Squad. And nothing's hidden behind a paywall or anything, but I want to give, even on the $1, I understand people work for that $1. Um, I work for my dollar, you know, so it's always difficult for me to say, hey, are you interested in memberships? But if you ever become a member, I want you to get the most value out of that dollar, even if it's $1. I want you to get the most value out of that dollar that you've ever got before. And because what day and age now can you buy for $1? I remember when you could buy. Do you guys remember? And this is going to age me. I'm 30 years old, so just stick with me here. When I was a kid, I could go down to my local dollar store. They had suckers. It was basically like a Smartie on a stick. I could buy one for 10 cents. I remember that. You could buy one for 10 cents. And it was legitimately 10 cents, like tax included 10 cents. So the way I look at it here is if you are going to donate to the channel on any sort of nature, I want you to make sure you get the most value out of that, because I also know I'm competing. All of you here, like Jeffrey, like you just found us yesterday, but you're here hanging out with us. You could be choosing to watch something on Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, you have Disney Plus, you have billions of other YouTube channels and all these other video streaming sites. You could go choose to watch something, but you chose to come here tonight to see what this is about. Now, this is not the sales pitch of how do I get your money? How do I get you to become a member? No. This is truly me saying, okay, we have a new viewer here tonight. What value can I give you to where hopefully you come back next week? Maybe you watch the next video. Maybe you walk away from this going, I got some questions answered tonight that I haven't gotten answered before. That's what I really strive to do and want to do with this channel in YouTube. And I would love to do fish full time, but I also want to give value back to the community. And that's something I've learned. That's something I've seen. And that's honestly, like, when people ask me, like, hey, do you watch this person? I politely will often say, no, I don't have the time. Where in reality, I'm thinking, like, I get nothing out of it. So out of my limited time that I do have to watch something, I want something out of it. Whether that's entertainment, whether that's info, I want something there. So that's a very long rant. I really don't know how we got there. So I do apologize there. Jeffrey, you'll learn it's not hard to get me going off on a rant. But HD Aquatics, what's up, man? Good to see you here. If you guys have not, feel free to check out HD Aquatics. That one's not a secret anymore. I knew about it before he posted it, which is awesome. He has a 55-gallon tank with a school of tiger barbs in it. It looks awesome. So he's doing some good things up there in the Canuck. Is he Canadian? I won't hold it against him. But yeah, HD's a good guy. He's doing some good things up there. Do I buy all my tanks new, or do you go to garage sales or marketplace to pick up tanks at discounted prices? I have done plenty of used pickups, and that's honestly where some of my best tanks have come from. This 65-gallon here was a marketplace find down here in Texas on Facebook. It was for the tank, an Eheim canister filter, the light, and the stand. I think he got me to include like a heater. It was $200. Some, they may say that's insane. Others may say it's a really good deal. I thought it was a fair enough deal because I know what a typical tank costs new. I know what a stand costs new. And the stand's not horrible. But then I added the background into it. And, I added. So it's for the value I got out of it. I really appreciate it. I like that it fit right here where I wanted it to. So I've done plenty of used stuff. What it comes down to, if you're in the States, the $1 per gallon sell, building a fish room, that's like easily one of the ways to go. Most people will sell used tanks typically at that like used price. Like sometimes they'll sell tanks at that $1 per gallon kind of a thing. If you can find somebody like breaking down a fish room, you could potentially get them at cheaper cost. I think MC just said I picked up all 3 of my 240s on our marketplace. That's awesome, by the way. You have 3 240s. I'm jealous of that. I would say on larger aquariums, that's going to be the way to go, is to find them used. My 220-gallon tank I had previously, I got it for $200. Tank, stand, all the fish in it, a FX6 canister filter, lights, heaters, everything of it. The fish that came with it, I actually ended up selling, and I made my money back. So yeah, large tanks definitely used. Like Sean, 280 was used, absolutely. use a big, I think tanks 120 gallons up, use the way to go. Because oftentimes picking up that size of a tank new is thousands of dollars, where you can typically find people that are either like getting out of the hobby, their spouse is mad at them, something happened, they flooded a basement. Me, it's. But when I built this fish room, I do have some tanks. I have some 40 breeders in there that are used. I have some 29 gallons that are used. But I also like most of the 20s I bought new. So I would say you got to pick your battles, right? If they have $1 per gallon sale, and you can actually get the size tank you want. Sure. But yeah, check out Marketplace for sure. I would say used tanks are not a thing to shy away from at all. Not a thing to shy away from at all. So yeah, we definitely got some good things going on in the fishing right now. So we have our first successful batch of angelfish. I'm super excited about. That was a first for me. I actually got them to hatch. We had plenty of spawns back in Utah that I could never get them to hatch. Then this go around, we have a huge hatch, successful hatch. They're raising well. That's another ultra fresh fish food I'm actually really enjoying using. I really want to do a video on and showcase that. Been testing some new stuff there too. So that's exciting. I love having that. We moved the Turkana Jewel Fry out, and we put them into their own grow out tank now. We have that happening. So things are happening in the fish room, and I've learned so much from this fish room now of having life in the tanks. That's something I want to try and capture. One thing I do like is keeping fish simple. That's a channel I watch, and that's a channel I watch regularly because I like the value he brings. And one thing that I noticed from his fish room, and this is also something I learned from Mountaintop Puffer Keeper, is life in tanks outside of the fish is fascinating, is absolutely fascinating. I'm loving watching plants grow in these tanks. I've kept plants before, and I've done planted tanks before, but to actually have like floating pearl weeds, washer tang, Java moss, seeing these interact with the fish and how they interact around that, and driftwood, and instead of having blank breeding slates, there's life in the tank, and it's fabulous. It's so much fun to see happening there. So having the angelfish spawn was awesome. It was definitely cool, and it's gearing me towards future fish I want to keep and fish I'm not going to work with anymore, or what can I do there. I'm still enjoying what I have, but it definitely was exciting to walk out and find a big spawn of angelfish. Then it was even more exciting when I got them to hatch. Now we're raising them out, and they're doing great. So this washer tank is doing great. There's some in this tank right here behind me. So this tank right here has both Java moss and some washer tank from Mountaintop Puffer Keeper. And then out in the fish room, the stir-by Cory'S we actually got from Blake, they are having a ball in that big old chunk of some washer tang out there. And then I'm using some of the Java moss as well, trying out Keeping Fish Simple's method of culturing Infusoria, and it's been going so far well too. So we've had a lot of good things going there. But Lefty's joining the chat. What's up, man? It's good to see you back in here. So thank you again. I was part of a collaboration with Lefty. If you have not checked out his channel, it was a fun collaboration. First time I've been asked to do something like that. I've done small collaborations on the side before, but this was the first time I've actually been asked to do kind of a questionnaire collaboration. I've really enjoyed filming it. The poor dude had to wait on me to get him his videos for like a week and a half. But yeah, I'm trying to get back in the grind of things, definitely. And so I do appreciate Lefty the opportunity to do that there. I really do. Dehumidifiers are typically a great thing to have in a fish room. Mine is Toshiba. I think I bought it at Home Depot. Pick one you like and go for it. I bought this 3 years ago now. Easily 3 years ago now. Has to be. We bought it when I was in Grantsville. It's worked out well for me. So find one you like. I purposely picked this one based off the fact that it has a drain port in the back that if I wanted to, I could hook up a hose to it and then run that hose to a drain. And then I never have to empty like the drawer container of it. So that's why I bought this one. It's a Toshiba brand. I'm pretty sure I bought it from Home Depot, but they're all over Amazon, all that stuff there too. But TJ Autocross, thanks for being here. Glad to see you on a Sunday live stream. I'm glad to be on a Sunday live stream. I'm glad to be. It's unfortunate. It's kind of sad that I go through these phases of YouTube gets put on the major back burner. And then all of a sudden it turned into, hey, I haven't live streamed in like a month. What happened? So definitely working on getting back to regular sessions here again. I want to try and do even earlier in the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening live streams on Sunday. I think it's a better time for most people to come in and join. And it gives me an opportunity to kind of hang out and chat with everybody. So I definitely do enjoy it too there. Definitely do enjoy it there. What we got here? Have I applied for the marketing job at Dance Fish? Marketing job, huh? Haven't seen that one. So I applied for the customer relation position, and I unfortunately did not get that one. I think he was calling his customer happiness officer. Did not get that one, and that's all right. That's somebody else much better suited for the job got it. So whoever it was, best wishes there and stuff. So I don't know. It was kind of those things of like it was an opportunity to potentially try something new, right? Like get into the fish hobby, the fish world of that nature. But I have not seen anything else for a marketing job. Do you actually have it up on his website now? I mean, I'd work for Dance Fish any day of the week. Dance Fish is definitely a good dude. So, but nope, still doing me. Still definitely doing me, doing my thing. We'll see what comes up there. My wife is kind of I will I talk so I would say one of the things you get from being a member is I talk very open. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. I made a joke last night that I use the members as my therapist, where it's just you're my friends, and that's how I look at it. Like people I talked with on YouTube and more social media now are more my friends. And like anybody who wants to argue that social media based people aren't friends, yeah, whatever. No, we're friends. So I definitely talk very open with the members. I don't want to say too much because I don't know if it's even going to happen or whatever else there. And if it did happen, I'd probably still kind of keep it quiet to myself kind of there. There's another fish tuber, if we're going to call it that they were looking for a editor. And I've applied to that. So I'm trying to kind of branch out and do some things more of what I want to do for work basis and, build skills that I want to build. So we're trying that there, but Mountaintop, I promise I did not forget your question. I just had to read back up the chat here. Let's see here. Do you expect if you fed those sticks in a powder to the worms, it would be similarly nutritious? My worm cultures are all very, very into the bread yogurt nutritional yeast at the moment. My opinion would be yes. So my opinion is you could basically do that with any, well, I'm not going to say any live food culture. So on my video of when I was culturing microworms, after doing some research, I found that both spirulina and paprika are a great source of color enhancing nutritional value to fish. Spirulina, I knew. So I was able to purchase some spirulina powder, gut load up some microworms on that, and I sprinkled it on top of the oat base they were in. But then the paprika powder was another thing. Did that the same thing. And I was able to transfer that to the fish from there. I've read some research, some debate, some articles about live feeder fish. You can basically gut load them with dry foods to get hopefully transfer that to a fish. So I do think that if you wanted to spend the money on the ultra fresh carnivorous sticks, that if you ground these up and then fed them into a whiteworm, you could get that. I also think you would get the same result with something similar to like the Tetra color granules, which, by the way, super underrated food. So I do think you could definitely do this with even the cheapest flake food, whatever food you could find, and get some nutritional value into it. Now, I would say the argument here is ultra fresh, in my opinion, as we all know, I've been called out on that before. I have to say, in my opinion, is their ingredients, I would say, are definitely a positive aspect to fish. So if you fed this to your white worms, they would feed on it. You fed the white worms to fish. I definitely think there would be a transitional period of nutrition. I'm using a lot of words right now. I feel like I'm going to have a really long answer to this. It would be beneficial for your puffers. I absolutely do. I would be very interested. I'm curious to see if the worms would eat on this. If they have a preference of that. I noticed when I did spirulina powder and paprika powder on the microworms, it was no difference to them because they were just munching down the oats and then capturing in that spirulina and paprika powder at the same time. So I think you could have it there. I'm curious though if you even could, because one thing with this is it's a floating stick. Now, floating would be great for things that like to eat off the top of the water. And my dragon puffers, I will say, do, because I have the spray bar to where it sprays across the surface of the water. When I drop these in dry, they cruise right across, and I see a lot of the puffers poke out from their caves or their cover. They look up at it and they watch it go across the top of the water. When they land in the massive plants, some of them will go up stock and eat it. What I've had really good success with, though, and this will be in my video, is I will pre-soak these in some water for 5-10 minutes. That way, when I drop them, pour them into the water, the buoyancy of the stick is depleted for a second, to where it's going to be in the video. I got a video up, I promise. It dips into the water column. Some of them will sink. Some of them will be buoyant and go back up to the top of the water. But placing it kind of mid water column is where I get the most activity out of the puffers eating it. So that's the trick I've learned with this. My other thought process would be too is, could you potentially grind this up and have your puffer fry eat it, and then even give the adults something? That's kind of my other thought there too. But I definitely agree with you where you're going though on gut loading up a worm to then feed off to that there. I think that's a very probable application of that. And hopefully that made sense. Man, I feel like I just gave the longest answer that definitely needed to be there. So what is the actual scientific breakdown on nutritional value transferred? I don't know that. I'm sure somebody will definitely correct me at some point. I'm sure there's some scientific research that's been done on that, but I think it would just it's got to give something. I mean, you got, like, right? I mean, I don't know. Fish are weird, man. That's all I can say there. Fish are weird. Ever tried making your own fish food from scratch other than live foods? I have. So if we're going on like the scratch basis, I've done, taking raw shrimp, peas, carrots, the baby food formula there, adding in my own spirulina powder, adding in like a Vitachem mixture, blending all that up, and then packaging it in to be more of a frozen food aspect. That's all over the internet. I have done that. I've had very good success with that. And I'm potentially looking at doing that again on a frozen food's expensive. Let's be honest, Jack. Frozen food is expensive. I think frozen food has a great application of that's what I'm looking for. Come on, brain, think. It's not culturing fish. Conditioning fish. There it is. Conditioning fish. I had to go Google that. Conditioning fish for spawning, especially. Now, I think things from and I have a full video on this too of a beginner's guide to frozen fish food, feeding that off. I can make a batch of my own quote unquote frozen food from scratch for about the same cost or even less across the board, depending on how you can find things on sale in different aspects. So I've done it, and it worked. And after that, it did work. And I had a lot of fish eat off of it. Now I think I have a lot of other fish in my possession right now that would do very well with it. I think the also hard part there is even getting the fish to transition over to it. But it would be, again, we can argue that a lot of those ingredients, right, have great nutritional value to them. So I have tried it, have had success with it, and I foresee I'm going to try it again. Something I'm hopefully, depending on kind of how I feel after I get off the stream, I do have a video I do want to film tonight, roughly around that idea of DIY fish food applications, and um, kind of give an alternative method to feeding foods we often purchase and then don't use, but where we could use them in different applications. Things I think about, and then things I make a video about, and then hopefully people watch it. So what's my next fish order? I really want black rams. I have sourced some black rams that in my opinion, are a true black ram. Not the blue black ram where you kind of see floating around where people try and call it a black ram. Definitely, they're not, from the pictures I've seen, they're not as jet black as what Dean has. And if I could get my hands on those, man, that'd be so sweet. But those are ones I'm really debating on bringing in. I just need to, I've got to play it. I've got to be smart about it too. If I need to potentially sell off some fish to kind of pay for some fish, that's my goal here. So I think those are definitely on the list of like next fish I'm probably going to bring in. I really want to get some black rams. I have not seen them locally down here. And I think if I can get those guys in and breed those up, I can make waves with those here in the Houston area. So nobody steal my idea. Nobody in the Texas area breed black rams. So I've definitely seen the German blue rams do really well down here, and I want to play with those too. But yeah, definitely the black rams is I'd probably say like the next fish I want to order in. Then I've got definite plecos and stuff I want to bring in and I want to work with, but I'm trying to be smart about it and trying to definitely not overcrowd the fish room, because I definitely want to grow out space and stuff. But I'm learning. I'm definitely learning. Like the Galaxy Woodcats, they're a hilarious fish. They're so cool. I know they can be spawned in captivity. I'm still working with them. They definitely have got to be up to size to spawn. But we'll see how long I stick with them from there. But what is my opinion on taller tanks? Is that the Fluval's 5-gallon ton? I don't know if I even know that one. Oh, is that very similar to the like the portrait tanks you kind of see on? I know there's a portrait tank on, I think they call it the portrait tank on Amazon. So something like, let me pull it up here. What I'm thinking about. Is it Marineland? Hey, there we go. I actually think it is Marineland. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can share the screen here without breaking things. Knowing me, I probably will. Okay, so this is when you say Fluval's 5-gallon tall. This is what comes to mind. Now, I'm pretty sure, isn't Marineland and Fluval like basically the same thing? They may be like a parent company. This particular tank, I think, is a really good tank for a 5-gallon. I truly do. I think with this one, okay, my argument is, yes, you're not going to get like the overall length of the tank, but I think with this particular one, you can do some really cool aquascaping effects with taller plants and have some easily some sweet applications of it there. Now, I know Jeffrey here, he says he got a 40-gallon with stand and top for $40. I think it's a great find. Tank is a Pentagon and the stand is high quality. Before I say anything further, I hope you get the most enjoyment and value out of that tank, because if that's the number one thing that needs to happen with tanks, is you need to get the value out of them. You need to get the enjoyment out of them. Personally, now this is where my opinion is, I don't like tall tanks of that stature. Another one I've seen is like I think it's Marineland 15-gallon column tank. Personally, I hate it. Like, I could never have one of those. That would drive me insane, because now what happens is trying to get water movement down to the bottom of that and have that turn over properly just seems like a freaking nightmare to me. This particular portrait tank, this 5-gallon one, I think is great. It's still enough where you can still work in it. When you get in these taller columns, personally, there's a nightmare to work in. I want nothing to do with them. I know some people absolutely love them because they bring a new perspective to fish. It is quite interesting. Having seen the big cylinder tank at Aquashella where they stocked that with neons that one year, but now this year they did, the peacocks. That was cool to see. That was definitely cool to see. But on a home-based aquarium, to actually have to get down into it, taller tanks would be just so difficult for me. Things like here with the Fluval Evo tank, I think that is the best beginner saltwater tank there is. I love that tank. It's enough depth, length, and height to do things with. It's fun. It's interactive. But anything taller of that is this is difficult in my opinion. It just gets hard, and it gets to a point where, and in my experience, when I find a tank difficult to work in, now I start tending to not work in that tank as much as I should. Like right now, even I have 20-gallon tanks in the fish room that I kind of have to really get a ladder out to step on, a step stool to really get to. And that's about as far as I'm going to go with that, because anything outside of that is even more difficult to get to. Yeah, I'm giving long answers tonight. Shed is almost done. Can't wait to start stocking all the tanks and get back to breeding. Nice. Good luck with that. I really hope I hope that goes well for you. I hope you find what you're looking for there. I'm having a blast breeding fish. And honestly, see, Simon says, this tank here, studying, we make a game out of this. Jeez. Watching these fish breed was so interesting, so exciting. I've seen it done. I've seen video of it, but then to see it in person, like visually see it in person, was fascinating, just absolutely fascinating to watch. You read about these things, and it just amazing there. I figured out if you make a face, you don't like it, or is it just my Tourette's making faces? You never know. Maybe I have a secret code. It's probably true. I do have a lot of visual cues on what I do and what I like and don't like. That's for sure. Any interesting learnings from your Fluval saltwater tank? I'm toying with a nano reef, but curious if it works well in practice. I would say the Fluval 13.5 gallon is the best beginner saltwater tank there is. There is there's a TikTok account, Stock My Tank, I think it is. Her Fluval tank is gorgeous. Like the coral she has in there is just, it's awesome. It's amazing. I like saltwater tanks. I'm definitely not the best at them. I don't know what the real difference is there, but on a nano application, I would highly recommend the Fluval, that Fluval tank. Absolutely. Because they've geared it to have a light that will grow coral. Like it's proven to grow coral. I'm having a lot of fun with the clownfish and the anemone in this tank. And I personally have decided I want to make that one into a full anemone tank. So, but a plug and play setup cannot, in my opinion, cannot go wrong with that Fluval tank. I think you may not be getting away with like SPS coral in there and stuff, but definitely some softies, some anemones. You could probably do some LPS stuff in there. So I think it's a great tank, and water changes on it are not ridiculous. It doesn't take much space, and even top offs. It's something you do by hand, and it's so small. And I've been very impressed with the Fluval tank. Like the bubble tip I got from Aquashella is just happy, fluffy. It's happy. So I've had a lot of fun with it. Let's see here. Do you think the fish could have problems like pea puffers? Is this back onto a tall tank? No, I don't. So on a pea puffer aspect, I do not think you would have an issue there with a taller tank. If puffers are curious in nature, they're going to cruise up and down no matter what you put in there. Like Betta Fish would do great in there. I mean, you could even do guppies in there if you wanted to and stuff like that. I have the most popular fish I've seen in the taller 5 gallons is Betta Fish, but I've kept Was it on the, did I have it on the channel? If you go way back in the channel, I wonder if I have it. Way back when I actually had this odd egg shaped tank. It was odd. It was super odd, and it caught my attention so much I wanted it. And I put a couple pea puffers in there. They did great. Pea puffers did great, but the way the tank was that egg shape kind of a thing made it a pain to clean, made it a pain to get into. But the fish had no problems. Fish looked great. It just became an algae farm, and I probably because I had it in the kitchen right next to the back door. But that's another discussion from there. 3-foot tank, 65-gallon Seapora. Sounds like the 65 I have right here. Roughly, it's a 3-foot tank, 65-gallon. I wonder if Seapora is the brand. Okay, your opinion on a deeper substrate base? How deep? If you go into the tour I did of Justin's fish room, what did I call it there? I think I did like the budget fish room tour breeds something about a budget fish room breeds hundreds of fish. You'll have to get past my Tourette's in that one. Fish. He had yeah, that's on the channel. It's almost an hour long too. He had some tanks with some massive substrate layers in there, and there's some interesting stuff in that one too. Also, the rainbow shrimp tour, he had a tank with a really deep substrate in there too. And I mean, we're talking like 6+ inches of substrate. It was really interesting to see. Now you move into these things of like, what is it? The anaerobic bacteria that doesn't need oxygen and stuff. It's fascinating. Now what are you looking to do with it? Are you looking to have some crazy like root feeder plants in there? It would look awesome. Deeper substrate because you like the look of it. It'll do well. I don't necessarily know. I can't say like you're going to see benefit A over consequence B because you have 6 inches of sand versus 2 inches of sand. You know, if it's a look you're going for, like one of my things too is like in a 10-gallon tank, I think like 2 inches of sand in there for some shell dwellers, and they pushed all the sand up the front of the glass, all the sand up the front, and then had this little bowl they created. It was super cool. So if you like the look of a deeper substrate, go for it. I mean, if that's what you want to do with it, go for it. Here in this 65-gallon tank, I have enough substrate that I like the look of it. I like that I can see, I hid kind of some seams with it. I like that you can see it on camera. I like that the fish can dig around in it, but I had no intention of planting anything in this tank. The 40 breeder behind me, I wish I had gone a little deeper on the sand, just to give the dwarf lilies something even more to root into. I guess my opinion of it, if you like the look of it, do it. I don't have a definitive, you will see this pro over having a deep substrate. But if you go into things like I'm doing a full planted aquarium, I want heavy root feeders. Now you're giving more area for roots to grasp into. And if you're not going to mess with that tank for, years to come, it can look really cool. Like I say, so I would, if you want to see in action, check out the Rainbow Shrimp tour and then Justin's Fish Room tour. And you can see some tanks there with deep substrate and see if that's something you like to do there. And if it's the look you like of there, but all right, we are over the hour mark. So typically we go for about an hour, but depending on how many rants you guys get me going and any questions you have. Sean, I have to check that out. I wonder if you got to remind me, you have a channel? That sounds cool though. Your shed app sounds awesome. I love fish room builds. I love learning from the people in their fish room builds and what they've got there going too. Moon Boot says stay forever. This is cool. I definitely have some names in here I haven't really seen before. And if I have seen you before, I apologize if I don't remember. But I appreciate everybody who's joined in tonight. Hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully you found some value out of it. Hopefully you kind of enjoyed yourself. Say we are looking to really increase. My goal tonight was to have a much more quality stream than I've had previously. I wanted to try dial in some lighting, dial in the camera, get some good audio going. So I really wanted to have a much better stream than I've had previously. So hopefully that came through here. But Moon Boots, your first time here? Well, thanks for joining. Definitely catch the replay if you want to. Hopefully you hang out. Hopefully you check out more of the channel. Hearing people say it's my first time here, I appreciate the opportunity to earn your viewership. Now, what does that mean? What do I mean of that? I appreciate that you took the time to click on something that is in competition with a bajillion other things. You know, there's so many other people that are live right now that you could go watch, but you took the chance on me to come watch this stream and come kind of dip your toes in the community. I'm the same way. I will dip my toes into a community and maybe sneak a comment in there and see if they react to me, see if they read me, see if they notice me, see how other people react to me. That's where I feel we definitely differ of the Well-Don Tanks community. Is I love seeing people welcome each other in the chat, taking the time to notice that, taking the time to bring people in. And that's what I want to build here. So hopefully you decide to hang out with us more. Hopefully you watch some videos, you learn something, find entertainment value in it. Hopefully you come back next week. That's what I always, it's fun. Exactly. I can be anywhere in the world and anyone on the internet right now, and I'm here. That is a lesson I have learned, and that's something I really am trying to apply to this. I said it earlier too, you could be watching anything else you wanted to be, but for whatever reason, you took a chance to be here. And I take that seriously because now that's up to my job to want to make you stay, right? Hopefully you find something of value here. Anyway, okay. But yeah. Have you ever sold to a fish store that you didn't work at? I have, because I've technically only worked at / owned a part of a fish store for a hot minute. Some of you know that story. But yes, I have. So I have a fish store very close to my house, which is just very convenient. But I go there based on the customer service I get from them, based on the relationship I built with them. And I've sold a few fish to them, and it sounds weird. I don't know how else to say this, so bear with me. I have verbally contracted with them on my Chircana jewels and angelfish, and then the fish that hopefully successfully just bred in this tank here. Verbally contracted with them if these breed and successfully they want them. So yes. Wouldn't having a deep substrate increase your chance of anaerobic bacteria? That's why people do deep substrate. So on the reefing community, there are some fascinating discussions evolving around deep substrates. And I'm pretty sure Aquarium Co-op just put a video on this store. I haven't watched it yet today, but is it the Ocean Aquarium in San Francisco? If you go back into Cory'S channel, he has a tour of it. I think they just did a new tour of it. He, I believe, talks about that, of what I mean, I think like deeper substrates and stuff, you see the benefits of it like years down, like a month later, but like we're talking years of maturing tanks and stuff, maturing and seeing that. I think that's where you can see a benefit from. Now, I will say though, something I have noticed in my fish room, I have two 20-gallon tanks right next to each other. I'm going to say one stocked a little heavier. One has more floating plants. One has some floating plants. One has substrate. One does not. One definitely gets a little more light than the other one, but the one without substrate, the water is always cloudier. Now, this could be because of the fish that are in the tank, but it's something I'm watching with of, does the substrate really play that big of a part in like mechanical filtration type of things? It's definitely interesting there. Definitely interesting there. But see, people figured out how to keep me going here. What are some tips I have to sell to them? Exactly like Mountaintop said, relationship building. Now, I do have a a video on the channel, HD. I don't know if you watched it. It's one of those ones like in HD, you know how this goes. You've created content. You have those videos where you just put your heart and soul into it. Like, this is amazing. Like you get done with it, you get done editing it to it, you click export, and then you click upload, you go, yes, like this was some of my best work yet. And then you have the realization of like, oh, like I still got to work on my SEO and like the search engine optimization. Like, oh, not many people watch this, but you just, okay, I'm ranting. Now, I have a video on the channel of 5 tips to sell to a fish store. My number one absolute tip is relationship building. You can walk into, I guarantee you, any local fish store, kind of mom and pop shop, even a big house, anybody, any fish store that has purchased fish from a hobbyist, I guarantee you, they're not going to give you the time of day the first time you walk into their store and say, I want to sell you fish. I got lucky with the store local to me because they're new owners and they didn't have anybody they're buying from. They honestly told me they didn't really know that was a thing. They knew of other stores purchasing from people, but they didn't know anybody until they met me that was actively looking to breed fish. Even when I heard that, my immediate reaction was not, oh, let's capitalize on this. It's, can I bring you some fish? I have some adult fish I'm downsizing. Can I bring you some fish? They said, how much do you want for them? I said, no. This is testing the merchandise. Let me bring you some fish. Let's see how they do in your shop. Let's see if they sell. How do people like them? Do they live? Do they not? Do you like the quality of them? Kind of a portfolio, have you. Let this be my resume of, here's 6 fish free of charge. Now, am I taking a loss on that? Yes, but what is that doing? Monetarily, I'm taking a loss, but run relationship wise, I'm building that relationship. I'm forcing them to talk to me about these fish. I happen to be one of their employees, was not familiar with this fish, asked me some questions. I took the time to politely educate him, not talk down to him, but educate him of, here's my experience with these fish. Now he can use that information to help another customer understand these fish. Being in stores, whatnot, I mean, be there, talk to the owners, talk to people there, talk to employees there, ask them. I asked this store, what fish do you sell the most of? Is that something that I can locally breed to bring you? I've had a couple other stores that I've asked about selling fish to, and I've definitely got some more work to do because I know they have specific breeders they like to buy from. Now I'm competing on that because they already have that relationship built. I'm not looking to, push people out of the way, but you said you got, big owls there. If you have a group of guppies, you can take them, offer them, ask them, can I bring you some fish to see if they work for you? That's, in my opinion, how you're going to build up something to then sell to them. If you want further tips, I'm going to say if, because let's be honest, it may not happen, but let's go on the positive aspect. When you start selling fish to big owls on a regular basis, you say, I can produce, I think roughly I can produce, I know he's produced some angelfish. I can bring angelfish to you on a regular basis. When you bring fish to them, don't show up with your fish in buckets. Don't show up with your fish in soda bottles and fish food cans. I've seen all of this. I promise I've seen all of this. It's an expense you're going to have to do. Bag your fish up. Label each bag, what they are, the quantity. Is this a pair of guppies? Is this 6 black rams? Is this 6 angelfish? What type of angelfish? Then, this is where I know a lot of you younger generations aren't going to know how to do this. Get yourself on a computer and type out an invoice. Type it out. It's legible. Top of the title, put your name, put your phone number. They need to know who you are, how they can contact you. Then make a list. Black and blue angelfish, 16. Black rams, 10. Guppies. Okay, there's one too. Are you bringing in assorted guppies? 20 assorted guppies. Let's say you're bringing in a very specific strain. 2 pair of albino koi guppies and have those bagged as a pair. So you know how they're going to sell that. But you also have to talk with them of, do you want assorted guppies? Do you sell more assorted guppies, or do you sell pairs and trios? In my experience, I have watched an individual attempt to sell pairs of guppies, and it did not go well, versus selling them as assorted. Now, people may come into the shop and go, I want you to pick out a male and female for me. That's on the shop now to figure that out. My other tip for you, and I've had this happen as well, somebody said they had OB peacocks. We said, awesome. What we did not justify, though, or clarify, I should say, was the male to female ratio of OB peacocks, and we got dropped off 50 female OB peacocks because breeders know they can sell the males. They keep some females back for breeders, but they know the males make more money, and then all of a sudden you're left with this plethora of leftover OB peacocks, female peacocks. Do not use your local fish store as a dumping ground. If you've got a massive amount of extra fish that nobody wants, don't just dump them off to them. Maybe make an offer to them. Hey, I have 20 extra female peacocks I don't know what to do with. Do you want them? Can I bring them to you? Can you use them? Can you sell them at a discounted rate? And then my other tip, and this is, I think it's kind of all things I've got on the video, throw an extra fish or 2 in the bag. If you're bringing 10 angelfish in, make it 11. Why? Because DOAs happen. Why? Because now you just added extra money, hopefully extra profit to that fish store. They're going to stay in business longer. Now you can continue to sell fish to them. So hopefully that helps. I know that was kind of a long answer again, but hopefully that helps and kind of gives you some ideas there. And then cost is going to be a big thing too. Just remember, you're not going to get, $20 for a guppy. You may get $1, may get $2 and stuff there, but it's definitely fun to see there. It's definitely fun to do there. But holy cow, not to definitely go jumping around chat here. But man, that was awesome to see coming in though. I had and speaking of more Canucks, I can't hold them against him. The king himself, Joey, my man. Thank you so much for that. Merry Christmas to you as well, my friend. I had the opportunity to meet him in Aquashell at his last show, and that was cool. That was definitely cool to shake his hand, because that was somebody that definitely got me into the hobby. And I will never forget, I shook his hand and said, "You got me into the hobby." He goes, "I'm sorry." So, Joey, thank you for that. I do appreciate that very much. That does not go unnoticed, my friend. I know that's definitely something you've worked for too. And I really thank you. That's awesome if you just stop by in too. You've definitely made a good impact on me, and I know you've made a great impact on a lot of people in this chat here. But thank you. I thank you. Definitely do appreciate that. I appreciate you stopping in too. But Darth Blunt, I appreciate it. Just a quick thanks for the time and effort you put into your content. You are appreciated. That means a lot. That definitely means a lot. But I also want you to know, as a viewer, you're appreciated too. That's something I think a lot of individuals miss on YouTube is, sure, for some, this was a get-rich-quick scheme. Not for me. And that's something I've had arguments with other content creators is it's at the end of the day, like, I don't care how much time I put into something. At the end of the day, it's did they enjoy it? Did somebody get value out of it? That's what matters. So thank you, Darth. But I also want you to know that on the flip side, anytime you click on a video, I appreciate it. I generally do. I remember posting my first video. So I started YouTube because a buddy of mine, he's like, "You have 3 tanks. Why don't you start a YouTube channel?" He's like, "You could do that." Well, okay, let's try. And now here we are. Well, Leo asked, how are the Bettas? They're doing great. They are doing great. Hopefully we have a successful spawn from them. I was kind of curious to see who was going to ask about this or, hint to this. Hopefully the Bettas we purchased at Aquashella, I've been conditioning them constantly. I have watched them spawn today. I've watched them do the awesome, like when you see in person of the male wrap the female and she drops eggs. That was one of the wildest things I've ever seen. And I was terrified. So I did the whole thing of put the female in a cup, introduce them that way, let them flirt each other. And then when I dropped her in this morning into the tank to let them go do their never been better. Mountaintop's got dad jokes. I was terrified watching them flare each other in the aggression. And then at one point, the female actually darted behind the heater. It's like, this is it. Like, this is it. This is how your life ends. And I'm helpless. Like, we have to let nature, like, watching Betta's breed is honestly one of the most wild things I've ever seen of. This is literally how nature plays itself out. And you just have to watch. But watching was fascinating. God, that was fascinating just to watch them. And I have no idea if this is consistent, true, because any information you read, and it just so happened too that at Aquashella, I had the great opportunity to meet Simply Betta, and she gave a whole talk on breeding Betta fish and picking out good fish to breed. So I watched her talk, literally went to the Betta breeder I found that I liked, and I sat there for like an hour, looking at fish, man, trying to apply what I just learned to this. Well, okay, here's my point. Where I was going with this. Every video I've watched about breeding Betta fish, anything I've read about them is once they embrace, females drop the eggs, which is just super cool. The male will go pick up the eggs and bring them back up to the bubble nest. I watched the female do that as well today. I watched her, along with the male, go down, grab some eggs. It was super cool to watch the male do like 3-4 eggs at a time, and just knowing they have the skill set to place each individual egg. Okay. The female was moving eggs up and down from bottom of the tank up into the bubble nest. That was wild to see. I had no idea the female would do that. And at first I was like, great, she's eating the eggs. Like, here we go. You're going through all this process. You're leading this male on, and now you're just going to eat your freaking eggs. And I'm going to sit here and watch. There's nothing I can do about it. But then I realized that she was moving the eggs up into the bubble nest. It was so cool to watch. So fascinating to watch. So fingers super crossed here in a couple days. You can actually see her right there. She's darting around right there. So I think they're done spawning, because that male, as I just saw him here, was aggressively chasing her. So I need to move her out. But God, hopefully we have a good spawn. And I used the Elgato face cam. I set it up last night. So I said this early in the live stream here. I have close to 20 hours of footage of them setting up to breed. So I really think I captured the male making the bubble nest. And I know for fact I've got footage of them breeding with the female dropping eggs and stuff. So, yeah, that one was super cool. Super cool. Definitely super cool there. Tips on breeding Cory'S. HG, my tip would be to watch the video on Justin's Fish Room Tour. That dude bred a ton of pepper Cory'S. And then my other tip would be to go and check out TM Aquatics. He just did a really good video on conditioning Cory'S, and I would watch Keeping Fish Simple. He's also done some really good videos on breeding Cory'S. I have yet to breed I've gotten Cory eggs once. I have yet to actually successfully breed them. My tips was, I say, check out Team Aquatics. That dude has bred hundreds of thousands of Cory'S. My tips are going to be, you need to condition these fish. Like, you're going to add food to the tank, and you go, my gosh, like that's a lot of food. Add more food, like add more food. You've got to feed these things a lot. Team Aquatics is one of the most knowledgeable people based around catfish species I've ever come across. That dude has bred an insane amount of plecos and an insane amount of Cory'S. Watching his tanks full of Cory spawns is one of the coolest things there, to where he literally is like, yeah, I bred all those. So his latest video, see if I can try and link it for you. It is under 2 minutes long. It's 1 minute 50 seconds long, so under 2 minutes, and it's solely based around food. Like, he talks about the food he uses to condition his fish. And like I say, the ultra fresh fish food stuff here, like, I'm having a lot of fun with fish foods lately, if you can't tell. So that's where I would start there. But Casper Aquatics, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit. I think you were here earlier, and I may have missed you. I apologize. What we got here? How long do you leave the female in the cup before adding her? Overnight. So I know when I hit record to when the recording stopped was 10 hours, and it stopped somewhere tonight. So probably 12 hours, 12 to little hours overnight. And no problems there. But Mountaintop would be a good one too to talk to about breeding some Cory'S there for sure. But all right, we're close to an hour and 30 minutes. I'll push it to there. So if you've got some final questions here, get it out here. But yeah. That's right. You do have a bunch of geos, don't you? Give me $4 a fish. Now, I will say too, I would say on the type of fish, you can definitely get more money per fish for sure. It's what they can sell, how big they are. So there's some factors that play into that. I know particularly, like, I have some platies I'm breeding in the fish room. I expect to get anywhere between like 80 cents to $1.20 per fish. And I say that very broadly. Now, on something like my angelfish, they're not the highest quality. I expect to get anywhere from $1.50 to $3 a fish, kind of in that range, and how big I can get them. I also would say in the beginning, I may get less. And as the relationship grows, I may get more, as time goes on, as the quality progresses. Now, on the Betta Fish, I don't know what I'm going to get for those. Actually, that's something I've got to discuss with them. I have not discussed yet, but something like a solid geo. Oh yeah, I can see $4 or $5 a fish for sure. 4 crypt flamingos yesterday for $15. But if you got all 4 of those for $15, that's a great find. Typically, those are like $25 to $30 a thing. That's what's hard too. Is like, I love crypts. And a tank I want to do really bad, I probably never will, is like a cube, like a 20-gallon cube or something, but the whole carpet be 100% pink crypts, like pink flamingo crypts. It'd be so cool. That'd be so cool. But to separate them after breeding, yes. So Leo, I learned a lot of my how to breed bettas. It's my first time doing it, so I'm excited. I'm excited to share my experience though, and from already seeing it. So Simply Betta, and then keeping fish simple. Once the spawning is over, the male guards the bubble nest and with the eggs, and will viciously attack the female from there. So keeping her in there, it's kind of like a death sentence, where he may just sit there and keep attacking her. And now that's stressing both fish out. And how do I say this kid safe? the female is going to be tired. It needs to recuperate. And the male does as well. They both need to be reconditioned and get back on food and stuff. So it's yeah. Yes, I would highly recommend separating them. It's what I've seen the most people do. And that's what I plan on doing here. So that's the other part too. I'm worried about bringing Betta is I'm probably going to cup her and then, just daily water changer. And I'm also debating on, and Leo, thank you. I appreciate you taking care of that chat for me. I may set up another small tank for her. So I got to figure out what to do there. But I've also got tanks the fishermen can move her out to as well. But Cancer Time, when you're thinking of selling that colony of the 1 Miller, let's talk. I found these Balzani geos. And oh my God, I'm so excited for these guys to grow out. It's going to be freaking awesome there. Yes, I've kept, so my last fish room, most of my tanks were bare bottom. I've bred a lot of fish in bare bottom. I've done quarantine tanks with substrate and plants and all that too. So I've done it both ways. I've done a lot of bare bottom stuff. I'm learning that I like this fishing right now to have life in it. And I'd probably do some bare bottom tanks again. I mean, I'm trying to think in that fishing right now. I actually have some bare bottom tanks in that right now, and I'll probably keep it that way. I have a 29 gallon with all the Tricana fry in there, and the juveniles, I'm going to grow them out in a bare bottom tank. But just kind of what I'm going to do there. And my pleco tanks are bare bottom actually too. So still have my wobbin mustard plecos. Yes, I will not be getting rid of those. Nope. I'm growing those out, and they're putting on some nice size to them. So yeah, the wobbin mustard plecos are definitely growing out there. So that's in Leo. You say that's something I'd probably do as well here. So this tank initially had a piece of foam, coarse foam, dividing it, and that's where I kept male on one side, female on the other side, conditioned them, introduced them. I'm honestly probably going to. The option I'm considering as well is dividing the tank again and seeing if I can get the fry to hatch and stay on the side of the male. And then if I need to again, just divide it out again to where it's like female, male, fry, but we'll see what I do at that point. But yeah, that honestly, what I may do as well here too, though, is just divide this again to put the female on one side there. So will I ever get an Asian arowana for the fishermen in the future? Legally, I cannot. So in the United States, they are still an illegal fish to own. I know of a few places actually that are selling them illegally. So I could get one, but I won't, just based on all that. So will I ever get like an arowana for the fish room? No. I really, really want a, I don't think you can have an Asian arowana being a YouTuber. Yeah, if I got one, it would definitely be a hush hush thing. I won't though. I really want though. I love the Giardini arowana. It's the closest thing I think resembles in Asian, and I personally just don't like silver arowanas. They're not fascinating to me at all. But I don't want to dedicate. If I was ever to dedicate a large tank again to a fish, it will be for a Mabu puffer. But so nope, I just legally can't have one. So see the Queen Arabesque, one of my favorite plecos. Zebras, like I would love to breed zebras, but at the same time, they're almost overrated to me. So yeah, the blueberries. I think I don't know. Personally, I think it's a scam. I've seen when I was in Utah, I saw ads go up all the time for blueberries, and they call them strawberry arowanas. I was like, yeah, whatever. So who knows? But I definitely there's certain fish that if I purchase them, I will have absolute like proof, like documentation of the fish in there. So, but everybody, tonight was fun. It was good to get back into this groove. Hopefully the stream is a lot more high quality. I really think I think this should be a 1080p 60 frame, like 60 FPS stream. So hopefully that proved there. Hopefully y'all enjoyed yourselves. I had a good time. This was fun. We got a definite awesome a lot of good people came into the chat tonight, and I appreciate that. I really do appreciate all of you taking the time. We had a lot of new faces and potentially new subscribers, so hopefully you liked it. Really do appreciate everybody, though. Thank you so much for being here. Just, yeah, it was nice. Definitely nice. So hopefully I plan on next Sunday. Should have a video up this Friday. Gonna get back on the grind of things, but for now, have a good night. Be safe out there. Enjoy your tanks, and we will definitely see you guys in the next one. So have a good night, everybody.